Some places I felt like, oh yeah, I could be like a local, nobody knows. As long as I don't speak, because I don't speak their language, they have no clue. Hey guys! Today I want to talk to you about reasons why you should solo travel. I definitely think everyone should travel by themselves at least once in their life. It's so freeing and like such a different experience. I think just try it at least once. I didn't try it for a really long time, but then when I did, I became like hooked, and now I love it. So I wrote an article about this over on Sisterhood of the Traveling Mats, which is a really awesome website that I write for. But I thought I would also just make a video about it to share it with you all who maybe have not seen that article. And if you would like to read it, I will link it below. But these are the basic things. So, reasons I think you should travel solo. Complete freedom. Now, this is meaning like when you're traveling alone, you have no one to answer to but yourself. You are the only one who's making the decisions. And maybe that sounds kind of scary, but think of it in a good way. It's really nice, like that feeling of like, if you have a roommate, your roommate goes out of town, you're like, woohoo, I can eat ice cream in my underwear on the couch and no one's gonna judge me. It's kind of like that when you're traveling alone. You're like, no one is there to like judge you or care. Not that your friends should be judging you, but when you're alone traveling, you can just do whatever you want. Like if you want to spend longer at the museum, then like you can spend all day there, and it's really nice. Because when you're with people, like I also love traveling with people, like don't get me wrong. But when you're with, especially like a group of people, you all might have different ideas of what you want to do. And so sometimes it's like hard to make decisions. But when you're on your own, it's like, I gotta figure this out. Another thing, it's getting to know yourself. When you're traveling alone, like I said, there's no one else there to make decisions for you. You're the only one making decisions. If you really think about it, when was the last time in your life that you had that opportunity? Usually, day-to-day decisions we make all the time are based on other people. And it's not like a bad thing necessarily, but you're thinking about your family or your friends or your work, or there's a lot of things that influence our day-to-day decisions all the time. And then when you're traveling by yourself, really, you're in control. So it really allows you to get to know yourself. And especially like you're probably out of your comfort zone. You'll really learn like what you're made of, and like a lot of times I think you'll surprise yourself, and I know I've surprised myself, just a lot of the things I've done. And it's so easy and comfortable to travel with your friends, and it's awesome. But putting yourself in that outside of your comfort zone and being alone and meeting new people and all of that, it really builds your character, and like it really just like makes you know who you are. You might have bad experiences, you might only have good experiences. Either way, you're gonna grow and you're gonna learn, and it's gonna be really awesome for you. Anonymity. It's the same thing. When you're alone traveling the world, nobody knows who you are, which again maybe sounds scary to some of you, but actually it's so freeing. I think solo travel allows you to like reinvent yourself and be the best version of you there is. You can really just have the opportunity to like be super open and awesome, because no one you meet is going to have any predetermined notions of you. That being said, it's not like you don't have to make up a whole persona. Like, don't like pretend to be anyone you're not. Just be the best version of you as you are. You can take this opportunity to be the type of person that you always wanted to be. Like, go out and like dance in the middle of the street. Like, talk to the people that that you never would normally talk to. I mean, be safe and be wise. Common sense. Another aspect of that is that when you're solo traveling, you can blend in more easily. So, I mean, depending where you are and what you look like, you might not be able to blend in. But I found at least when you're by yourself, it's like a lot easier to blend in. You can just kind of like pretend like you know what you're doing, and you won't stick out as much. Think about it, you can always spot a group of tourists. You know, no matter where you are in the world, you'll notice a group of tourists because they're all loud and talking to each other and blah blah blah. But when you're alone, you can just like blend in. You're looking at the sights, like you're just walking down the street, nobody knows who you are and they don't care, and you're just doing your own thing. It's really nice feeling that way. Also, enriched experiences. When you're alone, you can see things differently than you would see them with other people around you. And what I mean by that is that, think about it, like when you're with other people, you're chatting and you're talking and you're taking pictures and looking at stuff too, but you're never going to be as present in this moment as you are if you're by yourself. Because when you're by yourself, you don't have any other distractions. You're the only one there, especially if you're in a different country where your cell phone probably doesn't work. That alone takes out so much distraction, because I think normally when we're alone in the day-to-day life, we'll go on our phones immediately. You know, like that's the time to go on your phone. But when you're out traveling and your phone is not working, all you have to do is take in the sights. Like if you're at a museum, you're really focused and you can just spend as much time doing whatever you want to be doing. Along with that, you aren't going to be influenced by your friends' thoughts. You know, if you're at a museum and your friend's like, that painting sucks, even if you're like, no, it doesn't, like it's still kind of like in your head a little bit. And yeah, so it's like when you're alone though, like the only one to be having these thoughts are you, which is kind of cool. And the last thing, instant camaraderie. So some of you might think that solo travel sounds really lonely. And to be honest, like at times it can be. But that being said, I've never had an easier time meeting people than when I've been alone. Like when you're alone and you're traveling, people like will just like flock to you, especially if you're staying at hostels. There's groups of people there and stuff. Like usually they will invite you into their friend circle and be like, hey, like come out hang out with us. And like people are just so nice. Other travelers I feel like are the nicest people ever. So I definitely would say, actually, when you're solo traveling, the amount of time you're really going to be alone is pretty slim, as long as you're open to meeting other people. I've met people and then we've gone out to bars and then we've also like gone exploring in the day. I've traveled to cities with other people that I've met. Making traveler friends is the best. It's like you already have a common interest, which is traveling. And then it's really cool to like meet people from around the world and get to know about them and what their lives are like. It's just such a cool feeling. So when you're alone, I think it's fun. You'll meet so many people and you just have to be open to it. But everyone is always usually nice. As long as you're nice and open, you'll get back what you are putting out there to everyone. So those are my top 5 reasons to solo travel. Definitely try it if you haven't. If you have any other questions about it, leave it in the comments below. If you have any good tips or anything, leave it in the comments below. I also made a video about my top 5 tips for solo traveling, so I'll link that below. If you want to see more stuff like this, then please subscribe. I do other travel tips videos and I also vlog. And I'm gonna have a lot more stuff coming up soon, and thanks so much. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that good stuff. I'll link it below, and happy travels. Bye guys. We came out to see all of the national monuments and everything. I'm really excited. I'm such a nerd.